The medical bay smelled of copper and antiseptic. Elias lay on the recovery table, his torso wrapped in regenerative bandages that pulsed with a soft blue glow. Blood, human blood, had pulled beneath him before the automated systems kicked in. The attackers had been thorough, professional. They'd known exactly where to strike to make it hurt without killing immediately. They hadn't counted on the cubs finding him first. 7. Juvenile. Kravathi stood in a semicircle around the table, their fur bristling, eyes fixed on their mentor's pale face. To most species in the galaxy, they looked like oversized felines, sleek predators with retractable claws and digrade legs built for explosive speed. But the Kravathi were more than mere hunters. They were warriors, scholars, and fiercely loyal to those who earned their respect. Elias had earned it the hard way. Tavi stood closest to the table, smaller than the others, her spotted coat still showing the patterns of youth. She hadn't spoken since they had carried Elias through the station corridors, leaving a trail of red that caused other species to scatter. Now her ears twitched as the medical scanner beeped its report. 3 broken ribs, punctured lung, internal bleeding, plasma burns along his left side. The station's medical AI delivered its assessment in a neutral tone. Prognosis stable. Human resilience factors exceed standard mammalian recovery rates. Humans, growled Nakir, the largest of the cubs. They break so easily, yet refuse to stay broken. That's why they're dangerous, added Senna, her tail lashing. That's why he's dangerous. Elias's eyes flickered open. Despite the pain suppressants, he managed a weak smile. Hey kids, guess I messed up the lesson plan today. Who did this? Nakir's voice carried the rumble of barely contained Draj. Give us names, Elias. The human Chan trembled as he raised it. No, you're students. This isn't your fight. You made it our fight, Tavi said quietly. When you stood between us and the Vex Raiders last year, the other cubs went still. They all remembered. A routine trade mission had turned into a nightmare when Vex pirates boarded their training vessel. The Kravathi instructors had been in a separate section. The cubs, barely past their first molting, had been defenseless. Elias had been the human liaison, just a teacher, a soft species from a soft world, or so everyone assumed. They'd learned differently. He'd sealed himself in the cargo bay with the 7 of them, armed with nothing but an emergency plasma cutter and 30 years of human stubbornness. When the Vex broke through, they found a human who fought like he had nothing to lose and everything to protect. He'd taken 2 pirates down before the cavalry arrived, sustaining injuries that would have killed most species. The cubs had watched him refuse to fall, refuse to quit, refuse to let the predators reach his students. That day, they stopped seeing him as just another alien. They started seeing him as pack. The surveillance footage, Tavi continued, her voice still that dangerous whisper, shows 3 Jarn mercenaries. They cornered you in Maintenance Tunnel 7. They asked questions about the Kravathi Embassy's security protocols. Elias's eyes widened. How did you wear cubs, not children? Tavi's pupils narrowed to slits. You taught us to think like investigators, to track patterns, to never accept the obvious answer. The Jarn Syndicate, Senna added, pulling up a holographic display from her wrist unit. They've been hired by someone who wants access to the embassy. Someone who thinks the Kravathi homeworld delegation next week is vulnerable. They chose you because you're human. Knocker said, soft target, easy information source. Break the teacher. Scatter the cubs. Chaos in the security detail. Elias tried to sit up and immediately regretted it. You can't. The Zarn aren't some street thugs. They're assassins, professional killers. So are we, Tavi said simply. We just haven't graduated yet. Tavi, no. You once told us, the small cub interrupted, moving closer to the table, that humans became the galaxy's most effective peacekeepers, not because they were the strongest or the fastest. You said it was because humans understood something other species, didn't she? Placed a paw gently on his bandaged hand. You said humans know that the most dangerous thing in the universe isn't the predator who roars the loudest. It's the protector who decides someone has crossed a line. The other cubs moved in, forming a tight circle around their mentor. Those mercenaries crossed a lean, Tavi continued, her voice never rising above a whisper, but carrying the weight of absolute certainty. They heard our pack. They tried to use you to hurt more of our pack. Whoever did that, she said, and now all 7 cubs spoke in unison, their voices blending into a single harmonious growl. Doesn't know who we are. Elias looked at their faces, young, fierce, and utterly committed. Hessaw himself reflected in their determination. This was what he taught him, wasn't it? Not just tactics and theory, but the fundamental principle that had carried humanity from a single planet to the stars. Protect the pack, no matter the cost. The Jarn safe house is in the lower ring, he said finally, his voice stronger now. But you'll need to be smart. Careful. Everything I taught you about asymmetric warfare, Nakir finished. Use the environment. Make them think they're hunting when they're being hurted. Psychological pressure, added Senna. Kravathi cubs are underestimated. That's our advantage. And exit strategies, Tavi said, meeting her mentor's eyes. Because you taught us that surviving the fight is just as important as winning it. Elias felt a strange pride mixed with concern. They'd learned too well. But then again, that was the point, wasn't it? To prepare them for a galaxy that didn't care about youth or innocence. Make it loud, he said quietly. Let the whole station know the Kravathi cubs aren't prey. And Tavi, the small cub, tilted her head. Come back safe, all of you. That's an order. Tavi's expression shifted into what humans would recognize as a smile, though on a Kravathi face it showed far too many teeth. Yes, teacher. As the 7 cubs filed out of the medical bay, their movement synchronized and purposeful, the medical AI updated its report. Observation: human patient's heart rate has increased. Recommend additional sedation. Elias shook his head, watching the door close behind his students. Won't help. I taught them everything I know. Is that wise? The A asked. The human closed his eyes, remembering a cargo bay, a plasma cutter, and the moment he decided 7 young aliens were worth dying for. Probably not, he admitted. But the Jarn are about to learn what I learned that day on the training vessel. What is that? The most dangerous thing in the galaxy isn't the apex predator. It's the cubs who watched their protector bleed and decided that whoever did it doesn't know who they are. In the lower ring, 3 Zaran mercenaries were about to receive a very thorough education.